And when you are capable of reading how your wife's friend is replying and you get to know her character, how do you guarantee that you won't fall in love with such a girl? Or your wife falls in love with your friend's responses and she thinks, whoa, this guy is a gentleman compared to my husband. The way he speaks is so much in sync with what I want my husband to be. But my husband is, unfortunately, doesn't brush his teeth and his belly is like 2 feet ahead of his chest, and he has so many bad things. But this guy is, whoa, his profile picture. Akhi, what is this? This is totally prohibited for you to facilitate such communication between non-mahram behind the back of her father. And this shows that this woman is not that modest, because if she had this dignity of a Muslimah and the honor of a Muslimah, she would not ever allow any such communication to take place behind the back of her parents, behind the back of her wali, her guardian, and Allah Azza wa Jal knows best. Nazar from India.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu.
Wa alaikum assalam wa barakatuh.
Sheikh, a person in my family arbitrarily fixed a certain amount into FD of conventional bank for forthcoming emergence in case of sudden afflictions of trial, ensuring that riba al-nasiya, that on top of that gets cleansed off to the poor and needy, as a person is frightened that those money will somehow gonna spend on the regular needs. So could he leverage the benefits of such virtual transaction? And if not, how should I confront a person about the ruling in diplomatic and humble manner? Jazakumullahu khairan.
Wa jazakum. If I understood your question correctly, you're asking about a person who deposited his money in a fixed deposit a box or an account that generates interest, and he keeps that for emergencies, just in case. So can he do this? The answer is no. It's totally prohibited for a Muslim to invest or to deposit his money in a conventional bank that generates riba. This is interest. Now, if you are in a country that does not give you the option of not receiving any such interest, for example, I think some people tell me that India has no option of current account. Whatever account you have, they will give you interest whether you like it or not. If this is the case, then you're forced to it. You don't have any option. But the interest money deposited, you have to cleanse your wealth by taking it and giving it to the poor. To go intentionally and open a fixed deposit account that generates such money and think that this is permissible to do, no, this is not permissible, and Allah Azza wa Jal knows best. We have a short break. Stay tuned, and inshallah, we'll be right back.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Today I'm going to talk about the book Interactions of the Greatest Leader. Abu Sa'id al-Khudri radiyallahu anh narrated that the Prophet of Allah sallallahu alayhi wasallam said, for every hardship, disease, worry, distress, harm, and grief that a Muslim faces, and even for every thorn that pricks him, Allah will expiate some of their sins through it. Abdullah ibn Mas'ud radiyallahu anhu said, I entered where the Messenger of Allah sallallahu alayhi wasallam was, and I found him suffering pains of a fever. And I said, O Messenger of Allah, you are suffering severe pains of your fever. And he sallallahu alayhi wasallam said, yes, I'm suffering as much as 2 men among you would suffer. I said to him, for that reason, will you have 2 rewards? He sallallahu alayhi wasallam said, yes, it will be as you said. There is not a Muslim that is afflicted with the harm of a thorn or any above that, except that because of it, Allah will expiate their sins, and His sins will fall like leaves fall off a tree.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah, and welcome back. We have Sister Mackenzie from the US.
Assalamu alaikum.
Assalamu.
It has been previously discussed that a woman has to insert a cotton to check and see if her menses ended because wiping is not sufficient. But some women have less frequent discharge emission compared to other women, so it's harder to examine if the discharge is white or not before the prayer time ends. So if a girl is a virgin and fears her hymen breaking from cotton insertion, how should she check the certainty of the end of her menses?
No, she should not insert it all the way. That would impact her hymen. Definitely, this is not the right way of doing it. See, the hadith is crystal clear. Once she sees the white thread-like discharge, if she wipes externally, then this is an indication of her purity. The issue is if she doesn't have this white thread-like discharge and the menses bleeding has stopped, this is where we tell such a person to insert a piece of cotton just enough to determine whether there is a colored discharge inside or not. But definitely not to insert it all the way where it impacts her hymen or harms herself, and this is not intended at all. T from the UK.
Assalamu alaikum.
Alaikum salam wa rahmatullah.
Sheikh, I understand this query won't be one size fits all for everybody. So for myself, I'm trying to level up, gain some more qualifications and try to make hijrah from the West. A lot of the Middle Eastern countries, they require qualifications and experience. So I just wanted to know, would I be sinful because of my taxpayers' money, for example, going to funding what's happening, the genocide against our brothers and sisters? Would I be sinful in trying to put my eggs in one basket and try to move to the Middle East? Or when there's other countries that a person can move to, the Gambia, other Muslim countries. But if we're trying to work for the Middle Eastern countries and we can't get there, and we overlook these other countries, are we sinful in this situation?
There is no sin on a person who belongs to a kafir country, a country that he was born and raised in. There's no sin in working there and collecting money and saving up money or working in trade or doing whatever he needs to do. And this is not supporting genocide in Gaza or Palestine. This has nothing to do with that. People are living their normal lives, has nothing to do with the genocide. Now, is it mandatory for you to migrate? The answer is yes. Unless you can practice your religion freely without any negativity imposed upon your wife and children in terms of what they are exposed to in the society and the community when it comes to Islam. What they are shoved down their throats when they go to elementary school, as they go up